So I have a book. It's called A Passover Backstory, and it's subtitled, Including the Do-It-Yourself Passover Seder. I hope you're curious what all that means, because I'm going to explain it. A Passover Backstory is the perfect how-to book for celebrating Passover. Now you might wonder, who cares about celebrating Passover? Well, what it says right here is if Passover was good enough for Jesus, why not his church? The unbreakable connection between Judaism and Christianity is masterfully explained as the Jewish roots of the church are brought to life in this volume. I think you'll find that to be true. I hope so. It says the format is narrative, the research is substantive, the journey is fun and powerfully spiritual. That is the goal of presenting this information. And the tension between modern Easter bunnies and God's sacrificial lamb is confronted. So you can expect a bit of a confrontation throughout the explanation of this text. It says that the author humorously pulls back the curtain on the mysteries of God's Passover as he details the profound connection to the Last Supper of Jesus. He serves up a feast of fascinating facts about classic Jewish traditions from a Christian perspective. And this special edition contains a full Haggadah. You might not know what a Haggadah is, but it's the complete Jewish liturgy for a joyous Passover Seder. You might not know what a Passover Seder is, but it's the order of events and the information that is presented and is passed from father to son, from mother to daughter, from generation to generation by Jews since the time of Moses. It explains the Exodus and the miracles and the wonderful deliverance that God brought to the Jewish people. It says right here that it's perfect for churches, small groups, and families that want to celebrate this biblical festival. By the way, there are both Hebrew and English prayers featured in this easy transliterations from the Hebrew to the English for all to enjoy as the miraculous exodus from Egypt is explored. The final event, the last thing that we have recorded, the final event before the crucifixion of Jesus was his last Passover Seder. I hope that that sort of challenges you to recognize that there was something going on. It was a Jewish thing, and that shouldn't be a surprise because Jesus was a Jewish man. And as I like to say, Jesus is Lord, and he was such a nice Jewish boy. The fact is that without that context, the church has no context for the Lamb of God or for communion, one of the most important sacraments of the Christian faith. A Passover Backstory reveals the rest of the story. So, what makes me think that I am qualified to discuss these matters? What can I say that would cause you to think that I've even obtained an intimate knowledge of the information in this book? Oh, if you saw the cover, you'd see it says it's by Dr. Randy Weiss, and that would be me. Curiously, there's a picture of the Last Supper, the famous artist's rendition, and there's some questions being asked by the participants. Are Easter bunnies kosher? Seems like a fair question. OMG, dinner rolls. We're going to be excommunicated. Would the disciples have said such a thing? Well, Probably not, but neither would there have been dinner rolls on the Passover table. And one of the disciples is asking this most profound question. Jesus Christ, who forgot the matzah? Because Jesus certainly would have recognized that dinner rolls would not have been the fare for a Passover Seder. There would have been matzah. And perhaps that's the reason that one of the disciples is saying, waiter, separate checks, please. Before I can go into the text of the book, I want to let you know that this book is dedicated to the heroines who made this book, this festival, and our lives possible. Personally, I must give thanks to God for my mother of blessed memory, Sylvia Weiss. Through a very complicated pregnancy and delivery, she loved me enough to give me life. The doctors told her that a decision would need to be made. Her life could be spared, or the life of her unborn child could be spared. That was me. But you see, at that time, it was highly unlikely that both of us could live. And she made my father of blessed memory, Arthur Weiss, promise to not come home unless I was with him. You see, my mother valued my life more than her own. As I wrote those words, I was crying while I was typing because I know I should have been a better son. I don't know if my dad could have honored the promise he had made to my mom in the hospital, and I'm thankful that her sacrifice was not required. A mother's love is unique, and my mom came from a more noble generation. Nowadays, just any hint of danger to the mother or of birthing an imperfect child is cause to snuff out the life of the unborn. So I want to say thanks, Mom. And this book also acknowledges 5 additional heroines who chose to give life, risk life, spare life, and selflessly provide a home so life could flourish. May God bless the memories of the mother of Moses, the sister of Moses, the fearless Jewish midwives, Shiphrah and Puah, and the daughter of Pharaoh. And finally, I thank God for my wife, Adrienne, the mother of our 6 children. Her gracious and godly example guides our wonderful daughters, daughters-in-law, and granddaughters-in-law. Adrienne probably had questions if this book would ever actually be completed. I know she became very tired of hearing of my endless rewrites, and on the blessed occasion of the last rewrite of this text, I declare my wholehearted agreement with the great man Winston Churchill. He said, writing a book is an adventure. To begin with, it's a toy and an amusement, and then it becomes a mistress. Then it becomes a master. Then it becomes a tyrant. And the last phase is that just as you are about to be reconciled to your servitude, you kill the monster and fling him to the public. Well, I declare this book now done and flung.